Women in Psychedelics Part 1. Despite taking many of the first steps to understand mind-altering substances, women haven't always received the credit they deserve. That's because of unequal opportunity in a society that has historically valued men over women. For context, white women weren't considered persons in Canada until 1929 following the Persons case. Still, many women fought for inclusion in research, as well as for the advocacy of controlled substances for medical use. They co-authored their findings with men, worked behind the scenes, sacrificing deserved credit, all to improve the study of psychedelic substances. One substance in particular is psilocybin, which we can't celebrate without honoring the memory of Maria Sabina. Sabina was a shaman or medicine woman. She shared her knowledge of magic mushrooms with Valentina and Robert Wasson in 1955, who then disseminated this wisdom in 1957 in interviews and essays. Sabina's openness led to the isolation of psilocybin and psilocin by Albert Hofmann, the same guy that discovered LSD. It also led to her imprisonment and the murder of her son, all for exposing the purification ritual to foreigners. Now let's talk a little bit about Valentina Wasson. Throughout her work, Valentina wasn't just assisting Robert in research. In fact, it was Tina who introduced Robert to the world of mushrooms. Tina, who led the excursion that brought mushrooms to the West, and Tina, who, after experiencing Sabina's Velleda, proposed using psilocybin to treat pain associated with alcoholism, narcotic addiction, and mental disorders, and most notably for end-of-life anxiety. Valentina's groundbreaking interview is among many first-hand accounts that fueled psychedelic research. One such account is that of Mabel Dodge Lewin, a wealthy, artsy socialite known as the first woman to document a peyote trip. And while reading it may seem like a normal Tuesday night for some, this documentation sparked the importance of insight into psychedelic experiences. Of course, the societal consequences for such behavior in Manhattan in 1914 was enough pressure to move Mabel to Mexico. There, she would start a literary community and continue peyote trips unthreatened by US laws. Adele Davis was an American writer and leading nutritionist, well known for critiquing the food and health industry throughout the 1960s and 70s. She was also the first woman to publish a full-length book on her LSD experiences. These 5 trips were psychiatrist supervised and said to help Davis overcome writer's block, improve her mood, and even repair her relationships with her family. She also claimed it helped her meet God. And on that note, meet Laura Huxley and Joan Halifax, 2 pioneer women using psychedelics to assist the dying. In an event known as the Most Beautiful Death, Laura administered 100 micrograms of LSD to her dying husband Aldous Huxley, the celebrated psychonaut and author of Brave New World and The Doors of Perception. Joan Halifax took this idea and ran with it. Her projects with LSD in terminally ill patients have had incredible momentum in transforming the experiences of clinicians, patients, and the institutions that serve dying people. Her work templates the psychedelics industry today. American poet Mary Bernard suggested mind-altering plants as vehicles for a special kind of experience adaptable to the use of most religions that acknowledge an other world and permit its exploration. In this way, they could be responsible for the origin of the sacred or spiritual. In a book review, Dr. Patricia C. Morningstar reads into this, even connecting Eve as the first drug user, abuser, and law defier since eating the forbidden fruit, approximating the effects of a sacred drug plant that temporarily produces feelings of cosmic perspective. In other words, she consumed a controlled substance to alter her cognition, and then she was punished for it. Did we fall so far from the tree? These women have contributed to the development of our understanding of the uses of psychedelic substances. They've paved the way for current research as we attempt to disrupt and drive progress for mental health and healing. In our current psychedelic renaissance, we're looking to them. Stay tuned for Women in Psychedelics Part 2, in which we explore the modern women fueling today's psychedelic renaissance.